So, greetings, y'all. Welcome to episode 5. I want to thank y'all for liking, sharing, subscribing to 1 million experiences. We are on our way. Please, please, please like, share, subscribe so we can get to 100 subscribers for our first live show, which is July 15th. That is my birthday. Please, I need it. All right. Today's show is called The Ripple Effect. All right. So this episode, we're gonna get into some stuff about generational curses, y'all. All right. And so let's talk about the whole splash. Right. You jump in the pool. There's a splash. A single action, a lie, a buried secret from decades ago can dictate how we show up for ourselves and our children. Let me tell you, I talked about, this at my mom's memorial service. She passed March of 2022, and I was like, look, y'all, like so much stuff came out. And one of the things that came out is her dad's side of her family didn't want to come because they said he wasn't her daddy. I was 41 years old learning that secret or that lie that had been told, right? Um, just like the lie, I was a product of rape. Um, that affected me, definitely. Buried secrets. Hiding my daddy. That caused me to look for love in men. And so let's just take a reality check. And let's talk about what generational curses are. It's normalized trauma. It's the unspoken rule. Don't talk, don't trust, don't feel. And it's just the basic repeating patterns of toxic relational patterns. Now remember, this channel is not for therapy. Ain't none of this for therapy. We just have what? Real talk. A real dialogue. So while you're in those comments, remember to be kind, but remember this is not replacement for therapy session. If that's what you need, take it. Alright, if we talk about something and we're gonna go in deep about it, I'll let you know because I don't want nobody having no attacks from PTSD or nothing. So if it gets too much, please exit off. Alright. The intent. I need us to remember that it's not about your past. Like, don't look at your past with blame. All right. Some stuff you couldn't even have been accountable for. You were a child, or you were a teenager, or you just didn't know. You were ignorant or blind to the fact. It's okay. Stop blaming yourself. Take the power out of being hurt and put that power in building your future. We have to, so yes, I understand stuff hurt you when you were a child. Seek therapy, talk to a therapist, get some help, but build from that. Use that to build who you are. Like, I didn't use the excuse that I grew up on Oliver Street or I moved 41 times to not graduate from high school. Alright? And yeah, y'all, I moved 41 times from the age of like 4 to 17. So, it definitely cost your family when there's secrets and lies all in the air. People are all over the place, right? There's an unspoken weight that is placed on your family. And so sometimes we're so busy protecting the family image. Like for sexual abuse. I am a sexual abuse survivor. Monique, the comedian from Baltimore, Maryland. Shout out Monique, girl, I love you. Alright, she is also an abuse of sexual, a victim or a survivor of sexual abuse, right? And so when we were growing up, it's don't tell because you are protecting that family, right? Nobody knowing what's going on, because if anybody finds out, it's going to what? Hurt our family, right? And so, and if you don't heal, then you just pass the bill to the next generation. Like, we can't let our children hurt and suffer because we didn't heal, or because our parents or relatives or whomever hurt us, because that makes it a continual cycle. And then we start to normalize those environments and that behavior. And it's okay to have 5 baby daddies. It's okay to be a side chick. It's okay to be with somebody else's husband out in public. Not. Talking about you want to make babies. Not. Or hiding the dude for years. Hiding the dude all during your pregnancy because you can't show him off because he got a wife. Lotto. Clarissa Shields. That's a whole ripple effect, whole generational curses ready to take flight. Jumping on the porch. It causes us to live in chaos, and work in survival mode, or just have emotional avoidance, and then we start to treat it as normalcy. And we carry it around with us all the way into adulthood. That's why your trauma response as a child is usually your same trauma response as an adult. That's what everybody made me so angry about, the whole, Diddy, Cheyenne Bryant thing and all of that. I want to talk a little bit about the integrity, right? And people matching who they are. Because that's not what we see, right? And that also carries a ripple effect. So we have Cheyenne Bryant and Jamal Bryant walking around here, and what are they doing? They're lying about degrees, or lying about if they're somebody's father. I mean, you got Diddy out here. He got his children involved in the same nasty mess he in. You got politicians living double lives. Like, are we losing our minds? They can't be, right? So at some point, we got to know when to make a pivot. And we can't be afraid to face the truth. The fear of disruption over versus the necessity of freedom. We gotta say what's going on. If you were abused, you were abused. Hey, how can I stop my children from being abused? Don't be denying it. Or if you know your parents weren't good parents, don't be like, yeah, my parents are amazing. No, they're not. You fix it. You do the opposite. You have to be the stopping block. You have to be. So we got to make a pivot. You got to shift the energy from the weight of the curse to the power of the curse. Like, I've broken so many generational curses. So I'm the first woman on my mom's side, and now a little circle family, to graduate from high school. And not only did I graduate from high school, I graduated without ever being pregnant. I graduated without babies. And then I went to college. That's what I did. I did have to leave college and, come back, but I pivoted. I was a stopping block. That's what the stopping block is. The buck stops here. It's a wall. No, it can't go on anymore. But there's a price, there's a cost when you move different like that. The one who breaks the cycle is usually lonely. They're labeled difficult, the black sheep. So what? It's okay to refuse to carry the baggage that your family brought. I got one airline bag for free. Why I gotta pay for another one that wasn't even mine? It's okay. Protect your children. make a conscious shift in parenting. For example, I have 2 daughters, and my oldest daughter said, Mom, you'll always be yelling. And I said, let's have a real conversation. I said, do I yell all the time? She said, no. I said, do I yell the first time? She said, no. I said, the second? No. I said, the third? She said, no. I said, I yell the fourth, the fifth? She said, yes. I said, okay. Well, I can do you like Michelle used to do me. Tell you one time, you don't do it, I can walk in, it's smack you. She said, oh my gosh. I said, that's exactly right. I don't want my children to fear me in that manner. So I don't do that to my daughters. I changed the way I spoke, the way I healed. I validate my daughter's feelings and emotions. And we talk about everything. Actually, I think I have superpowers. So, which I love, okay? And so I want us to remember the golden takeaway from all of this is our ultimate truth is we don't have to be a product of our environment. As you start to learn a little bit more about your auntie, you'll see I do not represent where I come from necessarily. The bad parts, right? Your history is not your destiny. Remember, we always will have to reflect. And so I want you to take some time to look at one ripple effect that may be going on in your family and change it. Challenge yourself to stop. Stop it. You can. You definitely can. Your pain allowed you to stand in your authenticity, your resilience, and in your healed truth. And we all do that by doing what? Making a better living by choice, not by chance. Look out for episodes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I am planned and ready. And so please continue to like, share, and subscribe, and help to make this channel a place where we can all talk. Have a great day. Bye.